is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to Mike in Southern California. Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, nice to talk to you again. And I have to start out and first tell you, I love this trading room. This thing is great. This app, it works great. And getting all the information, you're like instantly there. No delay, nothing. That's
I know.
great.
I appreciate you grappling problem with us.
Your channel is in my pocket all day long. It's wonderful.
Thank you, man.
Again.
Thank you.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everybody. Friday, 3:07 p.m., 1 hour left to go in trading, and we got markets right now at record highs. You just had the S&Ps. As I was on the air for the 3 o'clock update, 67.21 on the futures. All-time highs were up by 0.4% or 23 points in the green, and the S&Ps, 67.17. NASDAQ 100. Pretty similar action. We just made a high. As I was talking at 3 o'clock there, we're up by 0.5%, 120 points higher, 24,838. The Dow up by 0.3%, not quite at the highs we were at on Thursday. 46,661. There's 3 sixes in there for those paying attention to the S&P, 666. S&P highs approaching 66.60 in the cash. Nonetheless, Russell backing off from the highs we had yesterday afternoon. The Russell only index in the red by 18 points or almost 0.8% in the red. Bitcoin, a little bit of negative action, down about $2,300 or almost 2% right now, trading at 115,470. How about crude? From Tuesday at 64.76, coming into the weekend at 62.41, down 1.3% on the session. And the ever-important yields, as we're sitting at 4.14% on the 10-year, and the dollar with some strength. And boy, gold. You gotta love the action in gold, because check it out, right? The dollar, Monday, the dollar's at 97.40. We're at 97.64 right now. You jump over to gold, and gold, you're pushing the highs almost of the week. Yeah, you got a spike high at 37.44. At one point, you were at 37.30 to 37.40 on Tuesday. We're trading at 37.17, folks. We're a solid $57 off the lows of yesterday. And even this morning, when I was on the air, talking about a move, Fridays, 37.17. Gold up by 1.1%. Silver right now up by 3%. Up more than $1, up $1.26. You jump over to Hecla, up by 2.5%. First Majestic, up by 6.8%. And as I mentioned on the update there, XAU up by 4.7%, HUI 4.3%. And for those trading those daily leveraged vehicles, Nugget Directions Daily on the gold, how about it? 10.7. Yes, daily leveraged Nugget, 10.7 in a day. I mean, how about this run? From 34 to 140. And yes, they're a sponsor, folks, but boy, they got some great products regardless. And to bring this up, is it going to give me the description right here? No. I should know it by heart, but it's the Daily Gold Miners Index Bull 2 times. And the inverse of that one, yeah, and there it is, it did. Direction Daily Gold Miners Index Bull 2 times shares. This fund seeks to track 2 times the daily performance of the ARCA Gold Miners Index, NYSE. And then, for you gold bears out there, and listen, you know, gold's had quite a run. You might get a pullback. Doesn't mean you got to be a bear. Because, boy, you talk about, on the flip side of that, dust, the inverse, of course. All right, we jump around to some of the movers today. Apple shares get an upgrade. And strong iPhone sales in Asia, up 3.3%. You take a look at the daily, look at the volume. We're going to get volume, man. We're doing it. We're breaking above anything we've had. We even have more volume than we're going to have at the lows. In terms of, it is a large volume day, almost going back to where you broke out from the beginning of August. We got Apple shares right now with a full hour left to go. And it's going to be a big hour, folks, because this is options expiration as well, right? This is the third Friday of the month. We got options expiration. It's Friday. So Apple already doing 73 million shares. You're up by 3.3%. I mentioned some of the other movers. Now you got TikTok in play. We'll kick it off with that. So Trump and Xi speak this morning. U.S. and China approve a TikTok deal after the call with Xi. Chinese leader appeared to support a commercial solution. Xi and Trump are going to meet this fall at APEC. Trump said he and Xi agreed to meet at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit, or APEC as it's called, in South Korea this fall. So you're going to have to wait for everything at least a little bit longer. The call was a good one. They're going to meet in person. Appreciate the TikTok approval and both look forward to meeting at APEC. Details, though? Nah, we don't got any details for you. Nonetheless, you're getting some action, and under the arrangement, a consortium of new TikTok investors and existing backers together would roughly own 80% of the entity, with ByteDance's ownership dropping to below 20% to comply with U.S. laws passed last year. So they get a small piece, and we'll see if that holds to it. The new investors, Silver Lake and Oracle, would own about half the company, while existing ones, ByteDance, would hold roughly 30%. You got Oracle trading higher on that. Gotta love it, man. Right? There's your acceleration. So TikTok coming to America, folks. And yeah, Paramount getting a run again, up about 7% right now. Jump around to some others. How about Uber today? Up by 3.7% right now. Jump over to Lyft, up by 1.6%. Tesla shares catching a lift by 2% right now. NVIDIA shares flat. Microsoft up by 0.5%. Walmart trading lower by 0.7%. Yeah, the home stocks. So you had Lennar with their numbers last night. You're down by 3.5% right now. They missed the forecast. You got D.R. Horton down by 0.25% right now. And KB Homes off by 1.1% right now. It is going to be interesting to see if rates come down, how these home builders react. Because my head keeps going back and forth in terms of how many levels deep do you go, right? And I say that as in, look at the run they've had during a period of extremely high interest rates, right? Well, you could say, do you know why part of that is? Because nobody wants to sell their house, folks, when they're going to give up their mortgage, right? So they've been one of the only games in town, right? They're selling houses, they're doing it, and as rated, but, you know, part of me says, you know what? Maybe it's not going to be that easy that rates come down, because guess what? There's a lot of people that are going to get freed up that have the ability to as well. Supply could come back on the line that has not come back on the line for a while. It's one of the things to consider. I don't think it's going to be a big problem. The home builders are going to do well if we get good mortgage rates, but it is going to be a little bit of a headwind that they haven't faced for some time. There's a lot of people that have been stuck in their house with a great mortgage, and that's going to be a supply side factor. S&P's pushing highs up 26. We're coming right back, folks.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. Markets just continuing to climb. We're 1 point away from all-time highs in the S&Ps. We're 6 points away from all-time highs in the NASDAQ 100. And the Dow is within 50 points of all-time highs. And the Russell was there yesterday after not getting there for a while. So quite the market. And gold having itself quite a Friday, up by $40 to $37.17. And that's the face of a little bit of dollar strength. And I say a little bit, folks, only as in it's quite a bounce from the lows. It was an exacerbated low in the dollar when we had the Fed day. Okay, as in there's your spike. So really this market got to about 96.60. You're going to see a spike of, 15, 20 minutes where we were down there at 96.20 before you closed out the day with Chairman Powell talking. So 96.60 was the area you trade to. We're pushing the lows. We'll see if we can break through that area, but this has been a consolidation near the 98 area. We're trading at 97.63. And just seeing the action in gold makes me believe that the strength we're seeing in the dollar may not be able to hold. Because they're both not going to hold, right? Gold's not going to go up $40 while the dollar's going up. Now, yes, there's days when it's happening, like today. All right. Yeah, how about this one? So an interesting company. One of the biggest Amazon sellers, third-party sellers in the country. Pattern. One of the leading resellers on Amazon. Went public today on the NASDAQ. We'll pull up the chart in a moment. But they raised $300 million. They're valued at $2.5 billion. Okay, this company was started in 2023. I was reading about this earlier. Where are they? Excuse me, 2013, not 2023. Yeah, like 10 plus years. Started by a husband and wife in 2013 as iSurf Products before changing their name to Pattern in 2019. They're currently the number 2 Amazon seller in the U.S. 200 brands, okay? They're an e-commerce accelerator. That sounds like the most bingo word ever for walking into a venture capitalist or public markets. What do? I'm an e-commerce accelerator, but that is what they do. They help more than 200 brands optimize their sales in online marketplaces like Amazon, Walmart, Target, third-party sellers, right? Marketplaces, you take your brand, it sells tens of thousands of products across categories ranging from health and wellness, electronics, beauty, personal care. So if you're ever wondering where all those third-party sellers come from, this is one of the biggest. In the second quarter, revenue growth of 39% to $598 million of product. Net income of $16.4 million, compared with $11.3 a year earlier. Operating income $30.1 million versus $23.1 million. Now here's what's wild, right? This is quarterly income. Now I don't know what kind of ownership this wife and husband have of this company, but it is pretty remarkable where you go from a company that just made $16 million in the last 90 days, because that's what they made. Net income in the second quarter, okay? Operating income was $30.1 million, but net income, $16.4 million. Well, you multiply that times 4, and you're talking about what? $64 million and change, right? $65 million, let's say, if you just multiply it. $65 million in income, and they're valued at $2.5 billion. Which one would you take? Now, they're growing, okay? They're growing at 40%. I get it. That's why it's priced there. I'm not saying it's priced incorrectly, but boy, you got to love when you go to that translation, because I think a lot of people would say, folks, if you owned a company, and there's the Facebooks of the world and the TikToks, and that growth is so magnificent, like Mark Zuckerberg, right? You say, no, I'm going to keep the company. I know you're going to pay me $1 billion, which is, their pre-revenue, all this stuff, but I'm going to keep the company. Imagine you're sitting there and you're making $60 million a year. God bless, what a life that would be, okay? Or you have somebody that says, hey, that company that you have that's making about $65 million a year, I'll give you $2.5 billion for it. So that's the mindset you want to walk yourself through sometimes when you're buying a company, because that is the transaction you're making, and there's momentum, and there's meme stocks, and there's volatility, and there's, everything that goes with the momentum of trading in both directions. But that is the core of it. When I look at this, okay, you say to yourself, okay, and I'm going to pull this up because I'm curious how much of the company they still own, right? Because imagine if you're a husband and wife, you start a company, and you're making $16 million every 90 days. That's a great deal. I'm always interested. Why do they need to go to public markets? Okay. They're already the number 2 seller on Amazon. Why do they have to do that? Well, the reason why they did it, they didn't have to do it, is that potentially they wanted to sell ownership of that company at this price to the public and sell it off. And are they going to achieve that growth in the longer term? What are they going to use that money for? It doesn't even really say. They raised $300 million. Tariffs and trade tensions between the U.S. and China could negatively, imagine, they get the de minimis exception is gone. Tariffs and trade tensions are a problem. The company was trying to hold its offering a few months ago, but delayed because of the tariffs. Yeah, can you imagine this company trying to hold their IPO in April or May? The top risk is its reliance on Amazon. Imagine the risks you're going through in that business to be taking in $65 million in net income and selling your business for $2.5 billion when you're just totally prone to third-party marketplaces, shipping, de minimis exceptions, tariffs, all the above. I'd be cashing into. I wonder how much they own. I'm going to find out. If anybody knows, and I don't say it in a bad way. It's just that's the transaction going on, right? Yeah, and retire. Get out of there. Give me my $2.5 billion, man. There's a lot of risk that go into being a third-party marketplace seller, let alone just the competition. Anybody can do this. Anybody can be an e-commerce accelerator to the tune of 2.5. And listen, they're crushing it, right? They're crushing it to the tune of almost $600 million in revenue in a quarter. Yeah, up 40% year over year with net income at $16.4 million. But the other side of that is, if you're making $16 million every 90 days, why do you go to the public if you think that you're going to grow faster than the public thinks you're going to grow? It's all expectations. The market's expecting higher things, though. They're buying it right now. Sorry, I'm going to go 5 minute. You open, I think it priced at, let's say, $13.50 or something like that. Yeah, $13.50. So you open slightly lower and we trade higher. See what we got going on. They may have to update that. Pattern Group Inc. I wonder what the ownership is. 12 years, not bad, right? E-commerce accelerator, 12 years, and you got a $2.5 billion third-party market seller. And what are you doing? You're just taking products and selling them on third-party founders. Whew. There you go, Duncan Steve. So the co-founders, as well as private equity firm Knox Lane and Banner Capital, all of whom hold at least 5% ownership stakes each. I wonder if it's bigger. Either way, no matter what it is, they're choosing to sell into the market at that price, right? Why not? S&P's at new highs. We're coming right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks, and we have the S&P is continuing to push higher right now. We just backed off a bit, but yeah, you make a new acceleration high to 67.26, and you do it with a little bit of volume on that acceleration. And that was on the 325 bar. We just finished that one up, and we're just off those highs at 67.22. NASDAQ 100, you got a little acceleration with volume as well at about 325. Jumping back to that pattern one, I'm sitting there at the break. We got 3-minute breaks, folks. Every break we take at TFNN, it's not more than 3 minutes. And, doing hour-long programs, it's good for the host ourselves as talking for a whole hour. So they're 3 minutes. That's all they are, every single break that we take. It's not longer than 3 minutes. So I only have 3 minutes. So I'm Googling the ownership, and I'm looking at the IPO. I'm looking at insider ownership. I'm looking at the founders' owners. I'm looking at the husband and wife. I Google 3 different times. I don't get an answer. I pull up ChatGPT, and I say, act as a stock IPO expert and tell me how much ownership the husband and wife founders or pattern with the symbol will have when it goes IPO today. And it gave me the answer. Yeah, it did. And I'll show you right now. It thought for 24 seconds, and it says they're still going to own about 55 to 53%, depending on the over-allotment of the equity. And the voting shares, though, okay, that's of common shares. They're going to have that much. Yeah, let me pull it up. There's how it posted. Let me bring it up. There we go. So they'll own post-IPO, and folks, I would check this before I share it if I had the time. I just joked in the den. It gave me the answer instantly. Now I have to wonder whether it's actually true, okay? I don't know if this is true. Sometimes ChatGPT, it does bonkers things. That's the thing. AI is great, but it is not infallible to even close right now. So take it for what it's worth on a simple ChatGPT prompt, okay? But nonetheless, voting control is 86%. They're going to own more than the common shares, as in more than 50%. And imagine that you're cashing in to that degree. Pattern has a dual class setup. Who doesn't these days, right? They hold all the high vote Series B shares and additional Series A via a family trust, which is why voting control is far higher than their economic stake. Yeah, and they'll load that in terms of the value. But yeah, you're talking about $2.7 billion company, third-party sellers. And I tell you, be wary of third-party sellers. That's and nothing against this company at all. It just seems like, in general, very hard to decipher the good companies that are doing reputable business, probably like this company at least. And then you got third-party sellers, they vet people, but the vetting process when they got so many third-party sellers in a marketplace like that. All right, let's take a look at Tesla up by 2.2%, 426 right now. I was talking about in the morning program, you back this thing up, we're just above the highs. Okay, and look how we just broke these highs. So you back it up to the highs of 2021. You accelerate, and this is on a weekly, okay, doing about 541 million at the top. We're going to take it out because we're at 536. Look how close we are. I'm going back on a weekly to where we were back then. That's the high, right? That blue bar is the high that had 541 million shares, and Tesla's going to take it out right now. This could be a 4-year consolidation, folks. So, I give Elon grief, but the charts say what they say. You call it like it is, right? It's a 4-year consolidation. I was giving him grief back then. We went over it today. The Twitter saga was taking place right around here in April of 2022. He came out and told people, I think he first notified that he had a large position. He disclosed it to the SEC around April 4th, 2022. I mean, look at that, right? He gets out during a period that you're going to have a 4-year consolidation. Call it a 3-year, whatever it is. Quite the acceleration, but we're breaking that area. Now, that's a weekly. You put it on a monthly. Okay. November of 2021, you do almost 2 billion shares. We're breaking above there, but we're coming into this bar from December of last year when you only did 1.9. But even if we're comparing it to where you were on that high in November of 2021, so 1.9 billion shares, not bad. We're at 1.3. Now, we get 7 trading days left after today, so we'll see. But keep your eye on that. On a weekly basis, you're breaking above it. On a monthly right now, we're going to need a little bit more volume. But, yeah. And look how you turn on a dime. Where do you turn from on the bottom side, too? Slightly lower you do, but areas of support and resistance, man. And Tesla breaking out. All we got's a tail. We jump around to some of the banks. I mean, these monthlies are something else. I mean, how about some context in the market, folks? Right? We talk about pullbacks. How about this for some context? This market is something else, man. That's only a 13-year run for JP Morgan, going from $45 to $315, let alone we just went from 100 to 315 in the span of 3 years, less than 3 years. Bank of America, we're making a run, folks. We're almost there. Haven't quite made it back to the good old party of 2006, 20 years. But we're making a run. Bank of America up by another percent right now. You're at 52.59. Woof. Look at these banks, man. So Wells Fargo's coming into the highs here. We got a high at 84.83. We're within, what, 13 pennies. We might beat it as I'm talking about it. You go back to July 24th, I believe. Yeah, July 24th, 19 million shares. Oh, we're not going to do it today, though. All right. You'd really like to see it take it out with some volume. So maybe you stop here just shy of the highs, because we got 19 million shares at that high. And look at how we do 14 million on Wednesday, 13 million on Thursday, and we come into that high with 10 million right now. Yeah, I saw commercials for Amazon. They got more deal days coming on. But, you know, deal days, October, I mean, it's remarkable, right? So everyone's going to try and get ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. You got deal days coming up. I think it was October 7th and 8th. Let's see if I can remember that. Let's see how good they're advertising us. October 7th and 8th. Their ads work. Yeah, 8 deal days are coming. October 7th and 8th. Prime member exclusive event. So customers will want to join Prime now. That's what might pop up. Jump over to Google shares. Look at this run of Google up by 1.6% right now. Take a look at the Google. Poof. Remarkable run. Google's up almost 100% from the lows of April. All right, folks. We get the S&Ps up by 28 points, up another 0.4%, sitting in within 3 points of all-time highs. We'll come right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Back, folks. So speaking of Tesla, they're raising money over at XAI. $200 billion is what it would cost to buy all of that company. They're raising $10 billion. And at the rate they're blowing through capital, man, it is amazing how it's just going to be a constant churn as they build out infrastructure for AI. Now, this also includes X now, Twitter, formerly, seeking funding for XAI as he tries to keep pace in the heated artificial intelligence race. And, you know, the valuations are always going to pop up here, as in you get to find out what the valuation is. Now, this investment's from Valor Capital, the Qatar Investment Authority, and Prince Al-Walid bin Talal via his Kingdom Holding Company. XAI, yeah, $200 billion is the number. And they're burning through a magnificent amount of capital. So they're going to keep coming to markets. But guess what? Elon, he's having no problem raising money. And I can understand why. Now, back to our government. Could have a shutdown looming, folks. Right now, Senate Democrats and Republicans each blocked the other party's rival plans to provide temporary funding. You have a potential October 1st government shutdown. Stuff doesn't even get mentioned anymore. Remember when the stuff used to matter dramatically? October 1st, okay? Democrats are demanding a boost to health care spending, while Republicans refuse to go along and back a simple bill to keep the government funded through November 21st. It's amazing. 7 weeks, right? We're funding the government on a 7-week rolling basis. Imagine if you were doing that with your own finances. And you could be, but that's not the right way in the long term to do it. Senate plans to take a week-long break. Why not? As that lapse nears, we're going to go home and take a break. Republican leaders hope Democrats will drop their demands and concede. We'll see what happens. Resolving the conflict is complicated by the Senate's plan to take a week-long break. Imagine this. The funding runs out October 1st, and the Senate's taking a week, and the only plan they have in place that they're fighting for is to keep it open for another 7 weeks. The Senate could return to Washington as late as September 29th. The House plans to stay on recess until after October 1st. Why not? Nobody show up. It's like satire almost. And they're doing stuff at home, okay? But this stuff... And then they get into the details. Nonetheless, you'll see that coming out more so. Now, let's talk some valuations. How about a $15 trillion surge from April lows? That's the S&P 500. That's $15 trillion in value. $15 trillion. Did you just hear that? Whew. Yeah. And now we're cutting. And this is the part that stuck out as well. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but you better prepare for a consolidation or even a pullback, folks. Okay, we just added $15 trillion since April. It's only September. But after a strong recent run, a period of consolidation should not come as a surprise. And the only dissent is that they should be going 50. I mean, imagine that chart, right? Now, jobs, the Fed doesn't have a mandate for stock prices, okay? S&P trading at 22 times forward earnings. Volatility suppressed. Among the companies in the S&P 500 that provided guidance for their third quarter results, more than 22% were expecting to beat analyst expectations, the highest reading in a year. This market, man. Yeah. So trailing PE, S&P 500, not surprising. Magnificent Seven, that their PE is actually widening. Well, a big part of this is the future of those companies in AI, of course, right? When's Oracle going to jump into that run? I'm sure that's what Mr. Ellison's saying. As in, not a Magnificent Seven, but boy, they're making a run for it. FedEx. So they come out with their earnings. You're up by 2.6%. They beat. You give it back partially this morning. But even UPS you jump over. Negative, actually, after that acceleration. Whew. Up to $88, and we're trading at $84.30 right now for UPS. All right, we check in on gold, up by $39, holding on to the gains. We check back in the dollar right now, wrapping up the week. We got 13 minutes left to go until the closing bell. 97.64 in that dollar. And silver up by 2.8%. Yeah, how about some of the runs in this gold market, man? AEM up by 4.6%. Vista's up another 3.6%. Hey, if you're in Vista, you got to love the action holding up so well at these highs, because it was a heck of a run, man. And to just chop around near 2 to 222 this week, you're finishing near the highs for Vista. Going to be very difficult to match that day of volume that we got on September 15th. Oracle up by about 3% right now. Now, I was talking about Meta during the morning program. And if you get a chance, folks, now, Zuckerberg was up there doing something about the operating system. They had some issues. You know, if you remember, folks, Steve Jobs could have had some issues, and I'm sure he did, right? But it didn't matter because, you know, watching that performance with the glasses and with the way they have the neuroband on your wrist where you make finger symbols and then you're controlling what's going on in your eyes, and then for the ability for AI to be digesting everything you're seeing. So imagine you're in construction, okay? You could record everything you see, and then you could say to AI, I mean, I just started thinking about why would you not want to do that? Now, I answered that question in my own head, why you would not want to do that, okay? Having Zuckerberg control every single thing you see and tell you everything you should see about it, okay, that's a risk for sure. But imagine the utility of having that when you say to yourself, AI, tell me how many times I've built a bathroom by this size. Have I ever built a bathroom? I'm just thinking going through construction, building, let alone the market, right? How many times have I traded this position on this type of a trade setup? What's been my probability of a profit loss? Going into building, you could say, imagine as a builder, you're mapping it with your face and you're saying, AI, show me an 8 by 10 foot bathroom I can put in the corner. It's really quick, folks, that you can, and that's not even using the visual. Imagine if you just want to be able to query things you've seen in the past, right? That's what I found, that you're going to be able to query things you've seen in the past instantly. That's the part where I said, man. And then you think about not just for curiosity or memory's sake, but for utility's sake. When you're in a business environment and you're able to query anything you've seen with your eyes in the past. That one kind of said, man, this is going to be something that gets adopted, and there's huge privacy concerns, okay? And I hope that they stay to the forefront, because you better believe that when Zuckerberg's got videos of what every single person's eyeballs are seeing all over the world, okay? Yeah. But Meta shares right now, down by 0.7%. But boy, this one's got me thinking if we're going to $1,000 or to the 1145, 1-to-1 of that 88 to 740 run. All right, market's not stopping, folks. Look at this. We're going to run higher right into the close. We're getting another acceleration. Look at that buying we just got. Oof. Look at this. Market's at all-time highs. One more segment. We'll come right back, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
5,000 right now. Remarkable acceleration. 165 points, 24,870. Let's take a look at some of the bigger pictures of these indices. So the NASDAQ 100, folks, you know, you're blowing past. This thing could be going to 28.2. That's a 1-to-1. You blow apart this acceleration. You do it the week of June 23rd, and you do it with a volume of 2.2 million shares in the NASDAQ. S&Ps, similar action. You're 1-to-1 on the S&Ps, brings you up to about 68.90. Same week. Look at that breakaway, right? You break the B point. You do it with volume. 5.4 million in the S&P. Let's see if the Dow lines up. At June 23rd week, yeah, didn't quite get above it, right? A little bit of a different story in the Dow in terms of the volume over here. And then you got the Russell making new highs yesterday. Russell, different story as well, but making new highs this week as well. Man, look at this acceleration. What do we got since the April lows? I mean, you can count this. You got one negative week, which was just the slight recoil of the following week after the 90-day pause. This is barely a red week. There's one legitimate red week. 2. That's a good one. 3. 4, 5. 5 red weeks from the run from April 7th. So what are we talking about? April, May, June, July, August, September. 6 months. And you got 5 weeks plus this one would make 6. That would make 7, I believe was the count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to be exact. Yeah, it's 6 months. 15 trillion added to the market, folks. My goodness. All right, we'll finish it up with gold. Gold having a Friday, up by $40 to $37.44 for an all-time high. We're back to $37.18. Gold up by $40 to the penny. Folks, thanks so much for spending your Friday afternoon right here with me as we close out the trading day. Have a great weekend, safe weekend, folks. Hey, if you're out there, you have a couple cocktails, remember this, take an Uber. All right, life's too beautiful. Go have some fun. We'll see you back here Monday morning. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks so much.